As the world turns its eyes to North America in the summer of 2026, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, emerges not merely as a sporting spectacle, but as a cultural milestone, a festival of nations, and a grand stage upon which the United States men's national team steps with the weight of expectation, the dreams of millions, and the unique privilege and burden of playing on home soil, a rare opportunity that nations often wait generations for. And for the United States, this tournament arrives at a pivotal moment when American soccer stands at the crossroads of evolution and ambition, ready to redefine its identity in front of a global audience. Automatically qualified as a co-host, the U.S. was placed in Group D, a group that on paper appears manageable yet brims with hidden challenges, featuring the physical and tactically rugged Paraguay, the battle-tested Australia, and a still-to-be-determined European playoff winner, one of Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, or Kosovo, each carrying its own threat, history, and set of qualities capable of shaping the Americans' destiny. The schedule sets the tone immediately, opening against Paraguay on June 12th in Los Angeles, a match that will set the emotional and tactical tempo of the U.S. campaign, followed by a cross-country journey to Seattle on June 19th to face Australia, a nation that thrives on gritty, disciplined football, before returning to Los Angeles for a decisive June 25 showdown against whichever European challenger survives the cauldron of the playoff. Teams known for their tactical structure, resilience, and ability to punish even the smallest mistakes. Though many observers outside the continent view this as a favorable draw, seasoned analysts recognize the nuanced difficulty. Paraguay brings South American intensity, deep defensive discipline, and a tradition of upsetting stronger sides. Australia brings unity, stamina, and surprising attacking bursts forged in years of tough intercontinental qualification routes. And the European wildcard injects unpredictability. Turkey's fiery passion, Romania's organization, Slovakia's disciplined shape, or Kosovo's fearless youthful energy, all capable of disrupting any team that underestimates them. For the U.S., however, this World Cup is about far more than opponents. It is about proving themselves at the highest level during a moment when American soccer is experiencing a renaissance. Under new leadership, the team has gone through tactical and cultural transformation. The fusion of experienced international players with new generation stars has cultivated a sense of maturity, ambition, and adaptability rarely seen in previous U.S. teams. At the heart of this resurgence is Christian Pulisic, the AC Milan winger whose evolution from a precocious young talent to a leader and talisman has mirrored the national team's growth. With his lethal acceleration, close control dribbling, and European pedigree, he is the emotional centerpiece of the squad, carrying the expectations of a nation that now believes he is entering his prime at precisely the right moment. Alongside him stand midfield anchors Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams, whose box-to-box dynamism, aerial strength, and creative energy make him indispensable, followed by Tyler Adams, the tactical general, whose resilience, intelligence, and remarkable defensive instincts give the U.S. midfield structure and identity. Surrounding this core are players whose careers across top leagues in England, Germany, Italy, and France have infused the U.S. with unprecedented depth. Antoine Robinson with his lung-busting runs and defensive reliability on the left, Chris Richards whose calm distribution and athletic defending stabilize the back line, Folarin Balogun whose movement, clinical finishing, and European sharpness provide a new dimension to the attack, Haji Wright whose physicality and form make him a potent weapon, and a bench filled with emerging talent. Yunus Musah's endless energy, Gio Reyna's creative spark, Brendan Aaronson's pressing intensity, Ricardo Pepi's instinctual finishing, Miles Robinson's defensive composure, an arsenal that positions the U.S. not as outsiders, but as legitimate competitors. Yet beyond the roster, the intangible advantage of playing at home elevates the stakes dramatically. Familiar stadiums, American crowds, minimal travel, emotional support, and the symbolic power of representing one's nation on its own turf contribute to a unique psychological environment where pressure and opportunity intertwine. For young players, this World Cup becomes a once-in-a-lifetime stage, a chance to etch their names into the history books, inspire yet unborn fans, and push the sport to new cultural heights within the United States. The expanded 48-team format adds both unpredictability and complexity. More games, more tactical scenarios, more chances for upsets, and a knockout path that could pit the U.S. against global giants should they advance. But also more opportunities for heroism, momentum, and breakthrough moments that could reform the global perception of American soccer. Group D itself requires tactical intelligence. Paraguay's physical duels and counterattacks demand composure. Australia's pressing requires precision and patience. And the European opponent, whether Turkey's aggression, Romania's deep blocks, Slovakia's discipline, or Kosovo's fearless transitional play, requires adaptability, quick adjustments, and mental resilience. To succeed, the U.S. must sharpen its defensive structure, increase its attacking unpredictability, and maintain unwavering concentration. Lapses at this level are punished ruthlessly. Off the field, the pressure from American media, fans, and a growing soccer culture adds another layer. This is not the 1994 team introducing the sport to a casual audience. This is a nation with a booming MLS, millions of young players, European-based stars, and a global fan presence that demands competitive excellence. Every pass, mistake, sprint, goal, and tactical decision will be magnified under the massive spotlight of a home World Cup. Still, within this immense expectation lies the beauty of the journey. The U.S. has the talent, infrastructure, fan energy, and emotional momentum to turn 2026 into a national sporting epic. Should the team navigate Group D successfully, the knockout rounds become an avenue for legacy, moments that define generations, inspire future athletes, and solidify soccer's place in American sports culture. The spirit of belief, unity, and ambition permeates the squad. The players know this is more than competition. It is history in motion, a chapter written with sweat, courage, mistakes, and triumphs. And as the world watches the drama unfold in Los Angeles, Seattle, New York, Atlanta, Dallas, Kansas City, and the many cities hosting matches, the U.S. will feel the heartbeat of a nation behind them, pushing them to fight for every loose ball, every inch of the pitch, every second of added time. Ultimately, the question extends beyond tactics and talent. It becomes a test of identity, maturity, and mentality. Can the United States rise not just as hosts, but as contenders? Can this generation, Pulisic, McKennie, Adams, Balogun, Robinson, Richards, Reyna, and others, deliver a run that redefines American soccer on the world stage? And as Group D sets the foundation and the road ahead remains unpredictable, one truth stands firm. This is the moment the U.S. has awaited for decades, the moment when hope and history converge, when a nation dreams not just of participation, but of greatness, when the 2026 World Cup becomes not only a tournament, but the defining story of a generation.
Reading the rhythm of the opponent and adapting mid-game in ways that reflect hours of preparation, scouting, and instinctive teamwork, while the defensive line itself has been forged to withstand intense pressure, combining the calm intelligence of Richards, the physicality of Miles Robinson, the athletic versatility of McKenzie, and the positional discipline of others, all under the watchful eye of a goalkeeper who must serve as the last line of defense and the first line of attack, distributing accurately, commanding the penalty area, and providing the psychological assurance that allows defenders to take calculated risks. And in attack, the American front line is a mix of experience, precision, and youthful unpredictability, with Balogun's European sharpness, Wright's physical threat, Pepe's poaching instincts, Reyna's creative ingenuity, and the occasional surprise from MLS standouts who have matured in front of domestic audiences, all combining to form a multi-dimensional threat capable of exploiting any defensive weakness. And yet, this is just part of the story. The 2026 World Cup is as much about emotion, atmosphere, and national pride as it is about tactics. And the U.S. will play in stadiums that range from the historic and iconic to the newly constructed marvels of modern architecture, each with its own personality, acoustic resonance, and capacity to amplify the collective heartbeat of tens of thousands of fans. From the deafening energy in Los Angeles, where California's passionate communities will surround the team with waves of color and noise, to the crisp, raucous environments of Seattle and Kansas City, where local soccer cultures have grown over decades and will now merge into a singular national force, creating a momentum that cannot be measured merely by tactics or skill, but by the synergy between players and supporters, a phenomenon that has historically given home teams a psychological edge. And for the U.S., this advantage cannot be understated, because many players have never experienced a World Cup on home soil, and the presence of friends, family, and lifelong fans cheering in unison will serve as both motivation and challenge, requiring the team to channel the energy positively, remain composed under pressure, and harness the roar of stadiums into precise, intelligent football rather than frenzied reactions. And this psychological element is compounded by the awareness that every move, every decision, every success or failure will be broadcasted to millions around the world, making each match not only a contest of skill, but a narrative in itself, a chapter in the story of American soccer, a story that includes not just the current stars, but the lineage of players who paved the way, from the pioneering squads of the 1930s to the 1994 World Cup that introduced the sport to the broader American consciousness, to the 2002 World Cup that reached the quarterfinals in South Korea and Japan, to the 2010 and 2014 squads that laid the foundation for youth development and international competitiveness, all culminating in this 2026 moment, where preparation, talent, culture, and history collide. And within this context, the challenge of Group D becomes clearer, because Paraguay brings a physicality and South American cunning that requires technical precision, composure under pressure, and tactical flexibility. Australia brings experience, endurance, and counter-attacking discipline that forces the US to maintain possession, control the tempo, and exploit spaces intelligently. And the European opponent, whether it is Turkey's passion, Romania's structure, Slovakia's pragmatism, or Kosovo's audacious youth, demands adaptability, situational awareness, and mental resilience, making each match a chessboard where each player must anticipate movements, read the intentions of opponents, and execute strategies under pressure, with every failure magnified and every success celebrated. And in this environment, leadership becomes critical, not just from the captain, but from every player on the pitch, from defenders guiding the backline, midfielders orchestrating transitions, wingers stretching space, forwards pressing intelligently, and goalkeepers serving as anchors and launch points for attack, all while maintaining mental focus under the immense scrutiny of fans, media, and history itself. And it is in these moments, when physical skill, tactical understanding, psychological composure, and historical awareness converge, that legends are forged, moments become immortal, and the 2026 World Cup becomes more than a tournament. It becomes the defining story of a nation, a generation, and a sport that has steadily grown in the United States to finally claim its place on the global stage. And as the US navigates the highs and lows of this tournament, every touch of the ball, every calculated risk, every defensive intervention, and every moment of creative brilliance will contribute to a narrative that blends human drama, national pride, tactical mastery, and historical context, creating a story that future generations will recount as the moment American soccer truly arrived. And for players like Pulisic, McKennie, Adams, Balogun, Wright, Pepe, Reyna, Musah, Robinson, Richards, Scally, Dest, and Turner, this is not merely a competition. It is the culmination of years of development, the realization of personal and collective dreams, the test of character, resilience, and ingenuity on the world's biggest stage, a stage that challenges them physically, mentally, and emotionally. And for the American fans, this World Cup is a celebration, a unifying force, a source of inspiration, pride, and identity. And as the tournament unfolds, every match, every goal, every save, every tactical adjustment, and every moment of courage will be remembered not just for its outcome, but for the story it tells, the culture it reflects, and the legacy it leaves. Because in the summer of 2026, the United States will not simply participate in the FIFA World Cup. They will shape its narrative, write its history, and define their own place within it, a place earned through preparation, talent, determination, unity, and the unyielding belief that they belong among the world's elite, ready to fight for every inch, seize every opportunity, and leave a lasting imprint on the tournament, their nation, and the sport itself. And as the final whistle blows on each game, as the crowd erupts or holds its breath, as victories are celebrated and setbacks analyzed, the 2026 World Cup will be remembered not only for the goals scored or matches won, but for the story of the United States, a story of ambition, evolution, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. A story told through the skill of its players, the roar of its fans, the drama of its matches, and the undying hope that by the end of the tournament, American soccer will have taken its place not only in the hearts of its own nation, but on the global stage, forever altering how the game is played, perceived, and celebrated in the United States, and ensuring that the summer of 2026 is remembered as the moment when American soccer truly came of age, rising to the occasion, facing the challenges of Group D and beyond, and showing the world that they are a team not merely participating, but competing, not merely dreaming, but achieving, not merely hoping, but proving. And in that convergence of history, talent, passion, and ambition lies the true heart of the United States at the 2026 FIFA World Cup.